Hey guys, this is just a little bit for your side tools, which are your duck bills and your side cutters. And I want to talk about the differences a little bit about these two different brands. The most popular brands are your German brand, which is Nipix, and then the other one, which is Channel Lock, which are USA. And what I was looking for was an affordable option, which I wasn't afraid to throw around or get lost, which is your Harbor Freight tools. One thing about this size that won't really work for our application, which is the 8-inch, it's the contour of the grip. You got to squeeze all the way down to the bottom. So if you have a big palm, it's like almost closing your fist. This might be a little bit too much for us because if you might grab your finger and you know how we'll hold it like this, you're not able to get a good close on the tool. So 8-inch out of the way, and what we want is 7-inch, which has a perfect contour shape like this, and this will allow you to keep your finger inside of it and still close it. So 7 inches is ideal.
That's what she said.
That's my joke. Damn it, Dwight.
So I couldn't find one that was 7 inches on the Doyle brand, so I jumped down a little bit lower. This is a Quinn brand from Harbor. I'm buying it like whenever I have the chance, and it's with like 20% off or they're 30% off, and that's how I acquired these. So these been sitting here since like last year, and I wasn't ready for it to get all of this and put this video together. So this was a really long time process coming. This is probably going to be the nicest set I'm going to keep, and these are the ones I won't mind throwing around. This one, honestly, I think it was like $8, $7.99, and if you go for the ones with these molded grips, they were $1 less, but I wasn't sure how I was going to cut through it, so I went just for this one just because I know that I could cut the sleeve a little bit off more easily. The next thing that we are looking for is some details, which is the rope. I originally bought this Atwood microcord rope. They're really darn nice. They were like a 100-pound test as they show here, but I think they're too thin for the application, so I went and ordered just regular traditional paracord. Went for some 80s colors, and I thought that this would help stand out. So, you know, you pick and choose your color. What I'm doing is I want to make it stand out so I could easily identify it. One thing I noticed is same thing for all of them, including the channel lock. If you look at the grip, it dimples down, and I think this is going to help with the knot that we're going to tie with it. So it'll give a better secure connection going down, and we'll make our knot. I'm going to try to do two different ones, but this one I'm going for today is a French hitch, and I'm going to do it for these two first, which is our Harbor Freight brand. The applications of this: duck bills for pulling your hooks out, and side cutters. For me, it's just going to be cutting fluoro and mono. And the reason why, I already have my cutters that I keep for braid on the fish, so this is what we need immediately. Trusty Tanita, 6.4 ounces, 7.9 ounces, 9.3 ounces, 8 ounces. So good combination. You're going to be lighter with the Harbor Freight tools overall together. You know, these were meant for electrical work, lineman tools. You want it to really work. So, you know, I believe that the weight of this is coming for the use of being able to make sure your cut is clean, precise, and able to effectively cut through. 9.8. It's already, I think, heavier than the channel lock. So just one little piece of mono. Easily cut. You see the pieces right there. Yep, that cuts just as good. A little bit more tighter on the bottom end of it if I'm cutting on the bottom. Just got to pull it away, but on the tip, it just snaps right off. Let's test this out right here because I was cutting on the tip. Oh, it cuts good all the way through. Even on the middle. And the Doyle, this one's already been used. She's been using it for jewelry. Perfect. Yeah, all the way good, all the way across. So this Quinn was a little bit much more cheaper, and just snaps on the bottom where I got to pull it away on the bottom because you can see it's stuck. Doesn't fling off. Got to pull it away, and showing you how this one on the channel lock is. You see already moved away. Just flies right off. A little bit more precision on the cutting right here. But honestly, this was less than half the price. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this carefully, and we're going to tie this onto it. So all this from Channel Lock, the Doyle, and the Quinn brand. Channel Lock on my right, and this Quinn brand with the Q right here, or is on my left. Explains the weight. You can see a little bit more length overall too. Doyle on my left and the Channel Lock on my right, and you could tell the machine cut this flat on the surface all the way down. This one goes about halfway to the handle stem, and this one's just like at the top quarter. Looks like all cast pieces and just machined down to give it a nice finish. I actually have two colors here. One with teal and then one with this pink and blue. My understanding, prep work, someone recommended doing a little bit of wax before you wrap this. It gives it perhaps a little bit of protection layer, but for me, I'm just going to go straight to it. With the Deckhand wrap, I attempted myself before, put a little bit of line beforehand, something like this, and then you start your line around it. This allows the line to tuck under, and that's where it starts off. And what we're gonna do is remove that amount. So say if it was this long, I'm not gonna go for this length. I'm gonna pull all the white string out of it to that insert of there, and it'll be flat. Channel lock. Oh, cut right through that. So easily too. And that spot is the amount of flat spots I have in here. So it doesn't have to be perfect, right? What I'm doing is I'm just gonna get an idea of how much line I would need. I've never done this on the tools before, so I'm not a pro by any means. Just something for myself. And where to gauge. So this is about right there. I'm gonna give myself an extra amount because I'm gonna do half hitches, which creates the French hitch knot. And already, I just want to make sure it's tight. Look at where, if I close it on both sides, that might be a problem right in between, because on the other end of it, it might be a little bit too snug, so I won't be able to grip it completely. Let's give it a little bit more room and use this now trusty channel lock side cutter. Cut through everything except the outlet. There it is. Nice. Now I can kind of detangle this a bit. And let's remove all this again and start all over. Not the right way, but it does have the right spiral. You can see going down. But redoing it. All right, so that pull down knot is going down the middle right here, and I'm doing my spiral of half hitches coming across.
1 hour later.
All right, took a few times hammering through, and I got it through 3 wraps. I'm pretty much tapped out on that. So whatever that's remaining there, I'm gonna pull it right now. Oh yeah, there we go. And just as tight as I can get it. I was gonna try to burn the ends outside, but I gotta show you guys how it works. So I'm not trying to get the fire on it, I'm trying to get the fire close to it so that I can heat it up. So let's start with this fuzzy one first. Yeah, the side view is not gonna help either, but hopefully you can get an idea. And I'm just pressing it down. That's one. And there you have it. This is the Quinn brand and Doyle brand from Harbor Freight. Part number is 64573 and 57791. This one was $8 and this one is about $15, but I used a 20% coupon on either one of them. I think one of them got a 30%. It is less than the channel lock brand. I think this was still pretty cheap for the Duck Bill version of the channel lock. This one was about $25, but I would say for 3 times the cost, go for the channel lock on the side cutters. Accurate cutting, much more sharper, and at 3 times the price, you're not worried about cutting. So this is just going to be for me to just try to, it's my first time having it for the season. Notice that this was the one I was using primarily, and it was doling as I was cutting the braid, and that's because cutting floral, it does dull the blade a little bit more quicker. So just having a dedicated set for each of them would be a little bit nicer. So mono and floral on this one. And at $8, I mean, you're not worried about losing it. And I only used X amount of paracord from this, which was like under $10. Next up, I don't know when, I still need to order it, most of the pieces, which is a custom leather sheath.
One week later.
Got the channel locks here and a slightly different color of the paracord, which has this teal and pink versus the blue and pink. And I'm just going to do a different style wrap, so it's just going to be fast forwarded on this since we already kind of talked about it in the Quinn and Doyle pliers. So finished product on both of them, Harbor Freight on the left side and channel lock on the right side. Did the varnish dip on these, kind of pretty much dried already. It's been a day overnight. You buy these for the sole purpose of its use. All I needed to do is to be able to open smoothly. That will be the Corrosion X or a little bit of grease and lube, and the cutter on this one to stay as sharp as possible. And that's all I need to do. As long as it does that, no matter how it looks, whatever it does, it serves its purpose. So, you know, inspiration was from the Katy Perry SK that was super popular a few years ago, and that's where these paracord colors came about from it. Hopefully this gave you a good introduction of affordable to what you want. I feel like still the bare minimum. This one, remember, channel lock cutter, side cutter, I think your bare minimum. Get at least this. Duck Bill or needle nose, whatever brand you could find, and it will work perfectly fine.
6 months later!
So today is October 10, 2023. It's almost a year later. I purchased this Doyle Duck Bill November of 2022 and slowly acquired the rest of them until about March when I wrapped it, and I took it on its first trip at the end of April. So I never had a chance to make my own sheath, and I ended up buying this one on Amazon. Really decent price by Style & Craft, and this was $30. It serves its purpose. So here we are, almost a year later. They both serve their purpose for different applications. This one I take with me on sport fishing boats, something that works very accurately when you need it on a pinch. This one has been my beater setup. I will take this to the lakes, to the jetty, to the surf. It doesn't even matter. I still took it on some sport boats when I didn't want to bring the nicer stuff out, and it still works well. Look how rusted it's become on this Quinn brand, even though it's a beater. And if you want to save the money, it's definitely a saver at 1/3 the cost of the channel lock. The difference is quality control. Remember that we were having a hard time getting it through, but the tip of it was really accurate. And I found out the reason why. Oh, there, towards the bottom. Do you see that gap? The light is piercing through that edge. There's a reason why they're 1/3 of the cost. It's that precision, accuracy. It is what it is. If you want a tool to serve its purpose and do exactly what it's supposed to do without having to find where that sweet spot of it working is, channel lock is the way to go. If you remembered, I put varnish on this one. I did another coat of it afterwards, and I think that was a little bit too much. It took away the complete color of it. I hope that helped and gives you an idea. You know, try it out, make it yourself. If you are a fan of other makers who wrap these, you know, support them. I saw a lot of other ones, and they inspired me to make my own because I was very curious on how it would work. Doesn't mean that everything is always meant to be DIY. Give it a try. If not, support your local guys that do wrap it. Thanks a lot, guys, and hope you enjoyed it.